from the great state of Texas, you are now listening to Skip the Noise podcast, a Rounded Edge media production. Thank you so much for joining us. And by us, of course, I'm referring to Rick, aka the Brown Python, Ben, aka Mexican Nostradamus, and myself, Benjamin James, here for another spectacular episode. Shout out to Mike Tacklebox for the music. And to open the show, unfortunately, since we last left you a week ago, there have been a couple of shootings. Matter of fact, the Atlanta one happened right after we recorded. Matter of fact, the day after. So first and foremost, first order of business is thoughts and prayers, love, feelings, any kind of healing to the families of the victim loss. A total of 18 people, 8 in Atlanta, 10 in Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado, at the grocery store shooting that just occurred yesterday, I believe. It all kind of blends together, but nonetheless, two kind of different scenarios. But I hate to start the show with such a somber note, but it is definitely the most pressing thing. We talked a lot about. We brought this up on who knows what episode, but I want to say it was Rick maybe. In the middle of the pandemic and the corona frenzy, it was kind of like, hey, there's no mass shootings anymore. Well, as soon as the crest of the wave seems to have broken and it's starting to subside just a little bit with the vaccines coming out and people getting a little more confident to walk around and take their masks off. Well, here we go. Here we go with mass shootings. I believe the two big ones have been in the media were like I said, the Atlanta and the Colorado one. However, there's been more, 7 in 7 days, according to Mexican Nostradamus, right before we started recording. I don't know all the details of all of them, but so to begin the show, we'll start with the Atlanta one. And now to recap a little bit, we had on episode 38 last week, we were talking a lot about Asian hate crimes. That's something that's very personal to the three of us. None of us, mind you, are Asian. Except, Ben is 25%. So but Rick and myself are both married into the Vietnamese culture. So our kids obviously have that as a part of them. And it's something that hits close to home. And a lot of family members are involved and are, grieving because of this and are walking around a little bit cautious and a little scared because of all these actions that have occurred. But anyway, I've talked a lot. I'll turn it over to the guys here, but I guess we'll start with talking about last week. We were talking about the Asian hate crimes and maybe how it was related to sort of like a lingering effect of the Trump presidency. So Ben, I think you want to kick it off and kind of reiterate that point, or what developed after that?
Well, this is basically just this is what happens when you rile up people. This is what happens when you play these games with social division and you run up the scoreboard, against ethnic minorities. This happens every single time. This is the second mass shooting that's blood on his hands after what happened in El Paso with Walmart. He talked about immigrants. He talked about that. And the same guy who shot it up was another Trump supporter who was hard on anti-immigration, anti-immigrants. And now the same jerk off who went and killed all these people in Atlanta, just another person who got caught up in the rhetoric. So, this unfortunately is just a pattern that happens. If you rile up these people, if you get them angry, they're not very intelligent people. They're easily persuaded. They're easily motivated, and they act out without thinking. And so, it's a bad situation, and so now here we are again at the precipice with Boulder, another shooter. We don't know what's going to happen or what we're going to do.
Is he a Trump supporter?
That I don't know. So, you're reading some things that maybe was or wasn't. I do know that he did. Okay. And this is verified. I do have a little bit of information, not necessarily because I know where he's from or who he is, but he was a jiu-jitsu player. He did do wrestling. He did do jiu-jitsu. So I do know that for sure. There's pictures of him holding up his NAGA medals and stuff like that. So the guy definitely competed, probably was, so that's what I do know for sure about him. And that I believe his family, he's born in the United States, right? Most of his life is in the United States. Syrian. That's where his family's
Syrian
from.
descent.
Syrian descent. So, that whole thing is very, very complicated. So we don't know anything roughly about that, but we do know that there is one overarching part of all these shooters is, these people definitely have mental issues. There's something wrong with them. I think 2 of them were coaxed by the former president with his rhetoric, but we don't know exactly the motive of the Boulder shooter. So that kind of puts us into this weird conundrum of mass shootings. As soon as people can go outside, they're losing their shit. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, to address the Atlanta shooter, it doesn't appear that it was politically motivated or even racially motivated.
What do you think?
The investigation from the police officers in Atlanta and their press conferences have said that the man had serious mental issues and some sort of addiction, sexual addiction. Now, that's what the investigation is calling out. I'm not sure, they haven't concluded it yet, but that's where they're going with. So I don't know if you can call it a hate crime yet. I'm not sure you can attribute it to the former president.
Federal government's looking into making it into a hate crime. So
I want to bring up too that there was social media. Am I wrong? There's social media
talking shit about it.
Posts that he had made that have surfaced from the past. That was I can't quote it verbatim off the top of my head,
but he was anti-China rhetoric.
Yeah.
So no. This guy was clearly another person riled up. Like I said, same thing with the shooter from El Paso. Here goes Trump talking about building fucking border walls and talking shit about immigrants. And what is this some dumb Yahoo does? He goes in, he fucking shoots a bunch of Mexicans. He drove from, I believe, my area to El Paso to go to a largely Latin community, which for the most part, there's quite a few Republicans there and Trump supporters. And he fucking shot them all with the disdain because of their color, because he was riled up. See, that's the problem whenever you have a president that does stupid shit like that. So this is blood on Trump's hand. This is blood on his hands on both situations.
I could see the correlation. However, it's still important to point out, though, that this was a big problem way before Trump took office, mass shootings in general. So while, yes, I don't think he helped the scenario as far as the country and the divisions, but we already had a problem on our hands, which for some reason, I don't know if it was just lack of media coverage or it really did subside. Well, I mean, you could make the easy thing that people weren't out and about as much, but lo and behold, as soon as the COVID frenzy we start to see over the edge of that just a hair, then it's like bang, 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 like mass shooters. Right in your, well, actually that was probably an unfortunate automatopoeia or whatever, but but we had a problem long before Trump. So I mean, and this is one of the most complicated problems to put a finger on. And to be totally honest with you, not to get too sidetracked here, but kind of my motivation, which ultimately led to starting the show, was like, what in the fuck is going on with young men between, whatever the fucking age is, you could bracket it, say somewhere between 20 and 27. I don't know what the fuck all these mass shooters, but like
definitely under 30.
Somehow like young adult. 30. Yeah. I mean, in their 20s, right. You could blanket statement that and just say young adult males for some reason in our fucking country are going batshit crazy and killing a lot of people in like big numbers in one chunk. Like what is it about it? Where are we losing these guys to where, because this wasn't always, you've always had wackos throughout fucking history. You're always going to have those people, but what's producing this quantity of these fucking guys?
I think Ben is right though. Ben is right. If there's a lot of dumb people out there who are easily swayed, and when you throw out the rhetoric out there, whether it's from a former president or the mainstream media, who are always at odds with each other, always talking about the most extreme things, you're going to get these assholes who are going to take it to the extreme. This guy, he has some tweets out there that are a little to the left side, trashing President Trump. And for whatever reason, he goes into a supermarket and starts shooting it up.
Oh, that's the new guy.
Maybe he thought, Boulder, Colorado was a Republican district. I don't know.
How Boulder is the most hippie place. Now, I do have quite a bit of experience. You've been to Boulder, right? Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's one of the most hippie places in the world. I mean, like if you're not wearing Birkenstocks, you could be fined. Birkenstocks with socks, you could get a fine for not wearing it there. It's just Birkenstocks, those sandals, those gnarly sandals they wear with socks. I mean,
that's a joke.
It was pretty good. But in the end, yeah, Boulder is not a Republican stronghold. And be quite honest with you, Boulder had this is the other part of the story that's coming out, is Boulder had a ban on assault rifles that was just rescinded, I believe, 10 days ago. It was just rescinded 10 days ago. So they couldn't. Oh. Yeah. It didn't work out well when they rescinded it. Ooh.
He might have already had the assault rifle.
No, he bought it 6 days ago.
He did not buy it.
Yes, he did. Look it up, dude. This is all on CNN. I've been all over this shit.
CNN. Oh, dude.
Every other news outlet.
It's like saying OAN. Come on, man.
Fox News is all on it too. Everyone's saying he bought the rifle 6 days ago. These are simple records that you could get and see. So no, so Boulder, I think, rescinded. They had to because the NRA was suing them for a ban on assault rifles in Boulder, Colorado. And then so 10 days ago, it was lifted. And the NRA is talking all this shit. And then now, 10 days later, there's a mass shooting in the place that lifted the ban. Was forced to lift the ban on assault rifles.
Let's go back to the Asian one, though, the Asian shooting. So the guy, I mean, the cops are saying that it was a sexual thing. He had an addiction. Where are you getting? I mean, yeah, his post might have had something.
No, all of his posts have anti-Chinese rhetoric. So no, the dude was racist, dude. It not even so much racist. These not Zionists, pro term.
He's
what is it called? Xenophobic. Xenophobes. Oh. These are these xenophobes that are just literally taking over politics. These people are just all in. Whoever the new public enemy is, they go after. I mean, we have bred American extremism now. If you really start thinking about it, huh?
Both sides.
Right. I'm not criticizing just one side at this point right now. I'm saying we have bred American extremism. We have that now. From like you said, for the one thing you loved to bitch about was the riots in Portland, to now, you see mass shooters, maybe even
the autonomous zones in Minnesota.
Right. Where you were breeding extremism on both sides. And so I don't know everything about this Boulder shooter in the sense of where his political ideals were or what his motivations are. But I do know that at this point right now, we do have a serious problem. I think Ben was touching on it. What is going on with men under 30 that are just losing their shit? I mean, it's fucking madness. It's crazy. Where's the disenfranchisement?
It's a loss of hope. It's a loss of hope.
Why though? But why? This has been going, and this is spanning multiple presidents now. This has been going on since at least Bush.
Exactly, since to the 2008 crash. I mean,
yeah,
jobs aren't paying as much. The demands are quite high for a man in America. Okay, you have a lot of young men growing up, thinking that one, they're not going to get a fair shake. Okay, you have young African-American males, let's just say, who are being told that they're not going to be given a chance, that there's this invisible boogeyman called racism where they're not going to get a fair shake. And why even try?
Whoa.
You have that. Okay.
Hold on.
Very clever, sir.
Yeah. The first part of your comments
crowbarred that in there.
Yeah. Your first part of your comments had some sense. And now the invisible boogeyman known as racism. Okay. That's much to pick apart with that.
That's right.
But racism is 100% not an invisible boogeyman. It's we have had facto and de facto racism in this country since the conception of the United States, even as a Commonwealth colony.
It's everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. Right. It's in every country. It's in the whole world. It's everywhere.
Right. No one's saying that it's not. Right. So any other country that acts like they're not racist is stupid. But the United States has it to a significant amount. And for everyone, not just African Americans, also people that look like us, people that look like, Asian Americans to an extent, South Asians, they've all experienced it. It is reality in this country. We live
in every country.
Right. everyone's racist, right? It even happens in Mexico. So
It even happens in India, dude.
Mexicans
India.
who look Mexicans who look more like my skin tone typically are treated better versus the Indios.
Your privilege, huh?
No, that's the way it is. I mean, if you're a lighter skinned Mexican, there is a dichotomy built in that. So you see like your Indios, you see like darker skin. There is that
So
level of discrimination.
I have no chance of making it in Mexico.
You're screwed. That's why you had to run. No, I'm just joking. But in the end, there is that problem, right? There is racism in the United States, right? That's a real problem. That's not the invisible boogeyman. So if you're an African-American male, there's greater chances of you going to jail. There's greater chances of you living in an impoverished area. There's greater chances of you having shittier education. There's greater chances of basically every negative thing that can happen to a child. There's greater chances of that.
Okay, so maybe I'm just in the wrong environment, because all the African American men that I know are very successful.
Right.
I mean, they're executives at insurance companies. They're pharmacists. They're doctors.
Bro,
they work in the towers in downtown Houston. I mean, they're really successful.
Bro,
right, but you're already in that.
That's
sphere.
anecdotal, bro.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you're already in that sphere. You're successful. You know what I'm saying? You're a pharmacist.
No, I'm not.
You're a professional.
You're just a fucking snob. You don't hang around normal people. All you hang around is professionals and pharmacists.
The people I hang out with are normal people.
Salesmen. I mean,
no.
Yeah, okay. Excuse me.
But they're successful. You see,
the fucking Great Gatsby over here. Huh?
They didn't let racism get in the way of their dreams and their success. They didn't. They
insert
didn't
that Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio meme.
I see Rick holding a fucking martini glass. Life is great because all the black people I know are extremely successful.
They are. I mean, because they didn't let the invisible boogeyman of racism get in the way of their hopes and dreams and their ambitions.
Statistics is not anecdotal, right? Statistics is raw mathematics, and statistics are always going to trump anecdotal evidence. Statistically, African Americans are going to have worse every negative category you can think of. They're going to have it worse than most other races of this, other than of course Latin Americans and people and immigrants. They're going to have that all significantly more than any other race, and Latin Americans. So that's statistics, right? Math doesn't lie. Ever. Math is math.
Yeah, I mean, there's different, you can play and you can analyze the different things that go into producing that math. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just black and white.
I mean, you sound like fucking Sean Penn. You sound like fucking Sean Penn.
Oh, there's so many. That's the problem.
That shit, man.
That's the problem, is that there are so many factors. And just to pull it back for a second to outside of race and just the
remember when
scope.
Sean Penn went to Iraq and he was like, all the Iraqi, this is before the Iraqi war, all the Iraqi children are so happy and everything looks so great because I know all the Iraqi children are just so happy while their fucking families are getting gassed and shot up by
Didn't
Saddam
he say that
Hussein.
about Venezuela too?
Yeah, exactly. But he saw that, right? All the Iraqis he saw were happy, except that the majority of the country was enslaved. So
right, the ones that are on
anecdotal evidence. You sound like
and then he went,
that's
and then he hung out with El Chapo and all that. But well, let me finish my point real quick though. I don't
hang out with El Chapo.
No, I don't either. I don't think that's probably a good career move.
That's a bad role.
Yeah, you should probably avoid that. Let him do his thing and just you do your thing.
All cost.
That's my policy. But so on the bigger scope, to pull it back out of race for a second, and the original point was about mass shooters and why are these young males under 30? What the hell is going on? Man, there's so many things. Like, yes, there's economical factors. There's things that are controlled by, legislation and societal trends and things like that. You can look at that contributes. That's the problem. There's just so many things to contribute. Also, though, I think you can't ignore just trends in life and culture in general with the evolution of technology and not to take it down a completely different path, but it's a different time. It's not as cut and dry, I don't think, as it once was. In other words, entering early manhood, there's something to be said for the complications that society lays upon people, individuals, particularly men, because of their role in the family structure. You know what I mean? The breadwinner, the man. I mean, as much as I'm all for equality, right? But there is, man, I'm probably get shit for this, but there is a sort of genetic disposition to gender roles, right, in a society. Okay, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm going on record for that. There just is, man. Traditionally, right, the male has certain roles in the household, the female has certain roles. Not to say that's the end all be all. Those things can be swapped. You know what I mean? You can have a female who's earning 6 figures. The male is working at fucking a gas station. You know what I mean? Whatever. That happens too.
He's taking care of his kids. He's at home.
You know what I mean? A stay-at-home dad. That's true too. That doesn't mean it's wrong or it's fucked up. I'm just saying traditionally and, you know, generally the roles are what they are, right? What we kind of commonly know as the gender roles for, I don't know, most of fucking humanity. So, you know what I mean? If you're going to come at me for that, I've got fucking a billion years of shit to back me up. I'm just saying.
I love this shit.
I'm just saying.
You're such a fucking chauvinist. God.
I'm not at all, though. I'm just saying that genetics hasn't quite caught up with those societal trends. This has only recently happened since the Industrial Revolution, and it's kind of continuously progressed to where we're at now, to where we're in more of a technological society where it's kind of a free-for-all. Honestly, I think that contributes maybe, I don't know what percentage. I'm not a fucking scientist, but that in and itself, I think, is part of it too. Because if you notice, I would say the upward tick or that exponential curve of these mass shootings are just these people flipping out and mental health issues and all these things. Now, honestly, you can point to science itself in deeming mental illnesses, right? Like they're calling them out more, just like you could call out other diseases. Just because there's more awareness, you're going to label it more. So that's going to up the statistics. But I think everybody would maybe agree. I don't know. Maybe they won't, but the upward tick in the shootings, you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, the shootings happen to be males.
It's a similar curve. It's always males.
It's always males.
I mean, there's female serial killers. There's shit like that, but mass shooters, they're fucking male every time, dude.
What's up with that?
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it can't just be all political. There's got to be some stressor.
That's the whole reason I brought that whole point up.
Yeah, well, there's a high rate of suicide also. There's been a massive spike in male suicides the last, I believe, 2-3 years. So maybe it ties into that. It's just another form of suicide in their minds. You know, killed by cop. You know, going out with the blaze of glory. I mean, you remember the kid from California who was shooting women because, you know, he couldn't get laid. I see what you're saying. While it's not just political reasons, right? There's a lot of issues. So like, you know, we can go into like, I guess the real crux of the issue we really want to discuss also at some point is try to figure out like, you know, what can help fix these problems. But I think, yeah, there's definitely a displacement of a lot of males in society. I mean, roles in society are changing quite quickly. I think there's a lot of men that aren't sure-footed in their place in society. You know, and what you're touching on earlier, Ben, with your male chauvinist views. There seems to be this. I was fucking around. Ben,
fuck it. All right, I'll ride with it. Fuck it.
But when it comes down to it, men typically are seen as, you know, the strength, the breadwinners, the you know, the men. They're the man. You know, and there's a lot of men who are being disenfranchised from that because they can't get jobs, and you know, their role in society has changed.
Also, I think it has to do with they have to be young men. All right, they're always in their early 20s, early to mid 20s. Okay, you never see really a mass shooter that's in his 40s, right?
Well, yeah, the Las Vegas.
Sometimes you do.
There's been a couple. Yeah, I was about to say the Las Vegas, but right. But we're for the sake of the conversation, we're talking about the majority. Yeah. So go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
And you know, when you're in your early 20s, you're coming of age. You're transitioning from your teenage years to your manhood. And fuck it, man. Manhood is tough. Being a man is tough in America, anywhere in the world. All right. There's so much placed on your back that you have to succeed. You have expectations. And it's a shock. And when you don't succeed in that, when you don't get the girl you want, you're still being made fun of, even in college. You're still that dorky kid. I mean, that hurts. And it may cause someone to react in a way where they just, fuck it, they don't care. And they're going to shoot it up, and they don't think about it. They don't think about the consequences beyond what their rage and their actions are. So anyway, that's just my point of view on that.
Yeah, well, and no, that was great, very well put. The thing though too, to add on to that is you had touched on them thinking about their place in society. Well, think about the different influences that exist now that weren't before, right? So you compare that. One of the things that can get to somebody's head and to throw them all off, and their self-worth, their self-confidence. We're constantly being bombarded with images and like displays of what these ideals are that aren't even really real, right? Like, for example, just the interactions through social media. And that's that has now replaced like television. Okay. Let's just simplify it. Okay. And let's just say back in the 80s, television was probably the main media that influenced people, or that was projected into their brain via an outside source. Well, in a very short amount of time, and by short amount of time, I mean, all of the three of us were alive during this course. You know what I mean? It's one lifetime of time frame. We're talking about one lifetime, one person, not generations, one individual. And in that short amount of time, we are now at a point where all the interactions are via social media. Now, the difference in social media is that it doesn't go through the same filter. This goes through one person can project an image, right? Like all the people, like if you go through whoever, like let's say some young person who's like in their mid-20s, okay? And you don't know that person. You just go through their social media. Whatever perception you have of who that person is based on gathering of that and interpreting that through your own brain of what you see, through for whatever they've projected, is probably such a small percentage of what the truth is that it's crazy. But that's what you see what I'm saying? Like that's the interaction. So, that's what these people are interpreting and seeing as truth, and like, fuck, I don't stack up, man.
So here's the thing. Well, growing up, we had TV, all three of us, right? And we would watch shit on TV, Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, and we didn't have reality shows. It was all sitcoms. But and our parents were there to tell us, hey, that's not real. That's not real life. That's fake. It's a farce. It's a story. Don't believe it. Don't believe everything you see on TV or anything. But here in the social media age, we don't have that filter. We don't have parents telling kids that's not real. That's not the real thing.
Yeah, it's a blurry line. It's not actors doing a role. It's actual people.
Yeah,
exactly.
But and I get you. I get y'all. And like I agree. But it almost seems like you're making men to be victims in a way.
No, misguided.
Like men are like, men are, hey, these. The reality is, and I guess let me try to put this in the most, being a man is supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So when we talk about social media and all this bullshit, guess what, guys? They're like, Roman gladiators were the fucking models for men for Romans, right?
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking warriors.
Well, check this out. Hold on. Not to cut you out. Continue your point, please. I just want to interject before you get too far. I am in no way saying or making excuses.
Right. No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying the factors that are kind of leading to this trend.
Right. But the factors have always been there though. I mean, like Romans had Roman gladiators as men.
Well, they're just different though. They're different.
Persians had, the immortals. Everyone has these really high ideals for anyone in society, absent of, there may have not been social media in those time frames, but there were social pressures such as war, lots of death, and lots of shit. And men were able to hold tight. Men were able to stay strong. So I think the real problem is I think there really has become some weird entitlement with men.
That's not true. I think
I do. I think men just need to grow the fuck up. That's just what we do. We just fucking do it.
Right. No, that actually is the answer, but they don't know how to do it. That's
there's no guidance to it.
They don't know how to fucking do it.
Right.
They need they need father figures that are going to be there. They're going to tell them what the real truth is. That they're going to tell them how to deal with the stress. Because you're right, being a man is hard. It's supposed to be hard, but it's how you deal with it that makes you succeed.
Well, right, okay. Right, but that's success.
That's overall. Not being taught anymore.
Well, when was it really taught though? You don't see
our fathers taught us that.
Well, no, right. No. But I'm talking about in reality though. When did it really start though? I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of new influences. There's not new structure with social media, stuff like that. I'm just more thinking that men and the concept of men have just become not men.
It started when everyone got trophies for participating.
That's
when it started.
I no.
They can't deal with failure.
No. Yeah. I think it's beyond just. I mean, no. There's part of it probably.
Mijito, you participated. You got home a trophy. That's good.
Well, I think there's part of that. I think there's probably a little bit of that, but I believe there's an entitlement that men are starting to feel like I'm supposed to have all the women. I'm supposed to be successful. I'm supposed to be the world changer.
Yeah, because they see it on social media and it's not real.
No. But I think that this is, and while I don't think so. I don't think it's just social media. I think there's just a weird disease amongst men. And I mean, and then not to go back to politics, but I think that's what we've been seeing in politics too, is that and this on both sides, there's just weird entitlement on both sides where there is just no room to be wrong. There's just no room for, to do anything other than be just, this is my way. It's just I think right now we're just in a very weird thing with men. And I think men are the symptom of a greater disease going on right now. And I mean, I can't really put my finger on it. I know part of it probably has to do with social media, things of that nature, but I think there's a greater symptom. There's a greater disease going on amongst our culture. And like I think Rogan talks about it a little bit too, with just the fact that men have become disenfranchised. And so I think there's just a bigger thing going down. And so I do see this as a continuing problem, But
definitely, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think we covered that a little bit just for the sake of the show. I definitely want to touch on, because some things had happened and we weren't really done discussing it last week. The immigration.
Yes.
And that was a great discussion. If you're just joining us right now, please go back to 38.
That's one of our best discussions there, Rick.
That was actually, and what makes that so dope too is it's right here, the great state of Texas. You got two Mexican American gentlemen from differing political viewpoints, but both Mexican Americans, both Texans, discussing this head to head. And that honestly, that was one of the big shining stars of this whole fucking show that we've done thus far. I thought it was badass. I don't know if, maybe the people that listen to us and they want to hear me talk about fucking bullshit stories, you know what I mean? Maybe that wasn't your cup of tea, but yeah, if you're with the whole spectrum of the Skip the Noise universe, anyway, but some things have come up, right? In the last couple of days, there's a lot of, they're putting holds on people coming in at all, but kind of the crux of the issue is so what do you do? These kids that are coming in, they're sending them, but then they're getting stuck here, and they're sending them because of the policy changes. And I mean, it's a fucking clusterfuck of a debate.
Yeah, it's a shit.
I don't give somebody take it. I'm gonna kind of step back and let you guys.
All right.
I'll let
tear it up.
Well, look. Listen, you know me. I'm really good with Border Patrol. You guys have seen my Border Patrol merch. You know, the sadistic knife and the badges and all that stuff and the hat. So anyway, a friend of mine.
You and your alien sticker. That's what that fucking horrible knife.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's anyway, horrible. It's got border. You know, also, Benjamin should put that on Instagram one day. You know, I still have it. Anyway.
Oh God.
But anyway, so I was talking to a Border Patrol friend of mine this weekend, and he was telling me what the conditions are really like, at least in the Laredo sector, down there. And one thing that, you know, it's a big mess. You got people being put in cages or in tent cities or whatever. But one thing that really disturbed me, what he was talking about, was how the minors are being treated, the quote unquote children. Okay. The United States government considers anybody over under the 18th as minor. Okay. Now, he made it a point to tell me that, you know, they separate men and women, boys and girls, into their own sections because they can't be together even if they're married. All right. But the most disturbing part was that they were housing literal children, 10, 11, 12 years old, in the same cages as 17-year-olds. Okay. And he was saying that the conditions in there are atrocious. Okay. It's hard to supervise all the actions of these 17-year-olds. And really these, you know, he witnesses a lot of things. Assaults are one thing. These 17-year-olds have already been gang members in their parts of their country, whereas the 10-year-olds have not. They haven't reached that point yet. Yet they're being housed in the same cages. There's no distinction. Another thing is, you know, the shower situation. He said it's getting better, but at one point, you know, people were just taking showers once a week, and there really was no plan in place to house these people. Another sentiment that being felt by Border Patrol is that nobody gives a fuck. Nobody. At least when the previous administration was there, they got called out on it, and it appeared that everybody cared. You know, it was on Twitter. It was liberal politicians. Even the conservative politicians were on it. But now, because there's a media blackout on this, they're not allowed to enter the facilities. And the Biden administration is not being called out on it or being put to task on it. The overall sentiment is that nobody gives a shit about these people. Nobody gives a shit about the Border Patrols who are handling these people. And that's where he feels that the chaos is coming from, and that nobody's being put to task. This isn't being publicized as the way it was. And nobody gives a shit. So anyway, at least, you know, when the Trump administration was called to task on it, he instituted the stay in Mexico policy, and that curbed the immigration, the crossings overall. It made people who really had legitimate reasons to want to come to America to stay in Mexico and wait for the asylum process to take hold, versus this open door policy that we have now that we don't know what to do.
Hold on.
Anyway.
So you mischaracterize the policy. It's not open door. That's not in immigration. No. Homeland Security, immigration have all stated that it's not. So no. That's just a misconception that's occurred. But the reality is okay, while they're definitely bad, there's a bad situation going on. That's one thing we can all agree, right? There's definitely a humanitarian crisis occurring at the border right now. Children being locked up with what are almost adults. Right? I mean, that's not appropriate. So there's definitely issues, but the stay in Mexico. So let me just tackle each one of those one at a time. The media blackout. Trump had a media blackout for over 2 years. When it came to seeing what happened in the borders, he didn't let cameras in until 2019 when they did that after they cleared out. And you know so to try to say, Biden, you need to show us, 60 days or whatever, or 90 days into your presidency, you need to show us something that took 2.5 years for Trump to show. I don't think that's fair, right? That's not fair at all. And that's ridiculous because, it's okay for Trump to do what he did, but it's not okay for Biden to do the same thing. So that's one part of it. But either way, we should be transparent as the United States government in all things. But to try to hold to two different parts is a little much. Now, when it comes to Trump's policy, it wasn't a policy. They stagnated the courts and they slammed the bureaucratic process that crawled to a halt. So nobody was being processed. So stay in Mexico was just another way to avoid dealing with immigration. He didn't deal with it. He just didn't do anything about it either. While he was too busy giving bullshit contracts to people building shitty walls that fell down 9 months later. So no, when it came down to it, his policy was dog shit. It didn't do anything and still hasn't. And it's led to the massive backlog of individuals trying to legally immigrate to the United States. Now, with that being said, this is not just about one regime's beliefs or policies versus another regime's beliefs or policies when it comes to immigration. Like I said before, immigration is a problem that we can all help by helping those who helping those who are coming here. So we can argue all day about, oh, this guy did this and this guy did that. But the reality is everybody's fucking us over. Right? In the end, that's really what it's all about. The Democrats will use this as pawns to try to further their bullshit agendas. And the Republicans will use this as cannon fodder to also further their political agendas. And no one's really coming up with comprehensive immigration reform. Trump didn't do it because all he did was, no, I'm not dealing with it. Biden's not doing nothing because same thing, I'm not dealing with it. He's not saying that it's an open door policy, but he sure as hell ain't doing nothing about them there. So it's ridiculous. I don't really think this goes beyond politics. This isn't about politics.
People try to say,
Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that people try to say that we were trying to, they're trying to deal with it more humanely. What's going on down there is not humane at all.
Well, no,
Okay?
this
It's
whole
not,
process
dude.
is not humane. I agree. It's not.
The
Doesn't
state
matter
Mexico
what
policy
party.
was probably the most humane
No,
part
it
of
was
this
not.
whole
It was
thing.
horse shit because they were being pimped out by the gangs in Mexico.
They
No,
weren't coming.
no, dude. Yeah, but no,
They were going back to their
Dude,
home cities.
They never went back. There's still 450 kids that can't find their parents right now
That's
because
terrible.
of that bullshit policy where they
can't find
separated
them here either?
parents. No, they can't. They fucking separated their parents, dude.
They're still separating parents, dude. They still are.
No, they are not. No, these are all kids coming by themselves, dude. They separated families. Look, man, I'm not.
That's what they do.
We
They're
can
still
argue.
doing it.
We can argue all day long about this shit. But what the reality is that there's not humane treatment. Doesn't matter who started it. Doesn't matter who was president, who wasn't. His policy did nothing but just push the bill. He didn't come up with comprehensive reform. He hasn't. He didn't do shit. All he did was talk about us like we were all drug dealers and gang members. We're not. I'm not. I'm fucked for sure not.
Well,
But the reality is
Yeah.
no, I am a citizen. My mom wasn't. She wasn't illegal. My dad wasn't. He was a lawyer. My father ended up becoming a lawyer. He worked for the FCC. He worked for the federal government. You cannot continue to parade us as if we are nothing. And the Democrats are doing it too. The Democrats are doing it also.
Well, here's the thing. And whatever, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's been perpetrated by previous administrations besides Biden and Trump. It goes back to Freddie Clinton.
No, it goes back
Carter.
to the 40s with the Ambassador program where they just they just rounded up people that look Mexican and threw them back home to Mexico City.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. Yeah, I just remember reading about that. Anyway, so here's the thing now. Where's the outrage with the libs and Twitter? Where's the outrage with the politicians?
I will agree with you on that because it's just political fodder.
It
right?
is.
It's okay
fake.
It was okay for It wasn't okay for Trump to do it, but now that Biden's doing it, yeah, no. We're not getting
everybody.
Yeah, no, we're not getting a fucking fair shake. I'll tell you right now, Mexican Americans, Latin Americans are not getting a fair fucking shake from anybody. So no one fucking likes us. That's the fucking truth. The truth is that they're not going to. We're not really accepting this society at all. But that's a whole different discussion. But in the end, this has become nothing more than just political fodder. Once again, they're just going to treat us like shit, like we're animals. They're going to either keep us out of the country like we're a bunch of fucking stark raving lunatics that are just trying to destroy the foundation of this country, or they're just going to cage us like we're a bunch of animals. Either way, they're not treating the people like human beings, right?
Nobody is. Yeah. I mean,
And so it's
terrible what's going on over there.
It's horrible. I feel so bad for those people.
They are. Horrible. Have you seen any pictures that came out?
Yes, they're horrible.
Yeah, the ones that leaked out.
Yes.
It's just
the Cuellar, Henry Cuellar.
Nobody has masks. They have them these plastic tents.
Oh, they got fucking aluminum
There's no air
blankets.
Circulation, dude. Yeah. Aluminum blankets, yeah.
Or whatever they are, those tinfoil blankets. They're like the space-looking blankets. Yeah, they're
right,
no.
Like when you,
I'll tell you what though. Go ahead.
You finish the marathon or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. or like if you go into shock, the blankets they give you so you don't go into shock.
That's what they do.
Now, here's the thing, though. Border Patrol agents are law enforcement officers. They go into the field. They have to be a little bit hard because of the things that they deal with out there. How are they going to care? And I say the word care for people in these communities, in these tent cities. And the truth is they don't care.
Well, okay.
They're just like any other prisoner, okay, that they've rounded up. And that's how they talk to. There's no, I don't know. I'm just saying that the Border Patrol is not the people to be taking care of these people. And it's got to be fixed. It really does.
Well, I think immigration, but like I said, the only way you're going to fix it, we got to stop. Once again, America has to stop attacking. Like you got to go further up the chain, right? So like once again, I'll just reiterate the war on drugs. We're arresting all the crackheads, right? Why? We need to solve the problem. It's not the crackheads. It's not the drug dealers. It's the problem in society that's causing people to do these things. And the same thing with immigration. Until we solve the inequality between North and South America, until we solve economic progress, that's where we're fucking at. Until we fucking do that, we're going to have immigration. You know what? I guarantee you there's Mexicans that would love to be back home. I guarantee you there's El Salvadorians that would love to be back home. I guarantee you there's tons of people that would love to be back home. But if you're being hunted by gangs, or if you're your life is being threatened, what choice do you have? In the United States, we're so fixated on dumb shit when we're not really taking care of who needs to be taken care of. We're so worried about the Middle East and because they have oil.
We're worried about Mr. Potato Head having a dick.
Hey, fuck you, man. That Mr. Potato Head, I'm on that one. No, so stupid. It's dumb. But
we're worried about Dr. Seuss.
Exactly. But we're worried about the Middle East, right? We're going to go to war for them, right? But we're not worried about our neighbors. South America. We're not worried about them. Right? We're not worried about that. We're not worried that they're complete, like less than you can fucking throw a stone, right? To Juarez. You can throw a stone to Nuevo Laredo. You can, these fucking places are completely overrun with gangs and violence. But we're more fucking worried about what's going on everywhere else, except for the places we can literally fucking see. And that's the problem. That's the fucking problem. If Mexico had oil, I guarantee you there would be no gangs in Mexico. There'd be no fucking problems.
It'd be like fucking Dubai over there.
Oh, yeah. If fucking Mexico had oil, like a substantial amount, the United States military would have 76 bases, right? You couldn't take a shit without them knowing. But since it doesn't have anything we really want except for slave labor, that we act like, oh, we hate them. And then we have all these holes in the wall for them to get through, to propagate and to push up our shitty economy that's false anyways. That's fucking bullshit, man. In the end, it's just horse shit.
By the way, immigration, people leaving their countries to go to another one in masses is completely horrible for that country.
Yes.
Bad. I mean, it is
Yes.
their talent, their youth, their future is leaving.
Yep.
Okay. But you're right. It's overrun by gangs. What are you going to do? You know, these gangs these gangs have way more money, way more firepower than the militaries of these smaller countries.
Yep.
And you're right. I mean, if they had oil, I mean, shit, man, we'd be there.
Well, no, we talk all this shit like we worry about ISIS. Fuck that. Fuck ISIS. We need to be worried about fucking like, you know, real like. I'm not saying names, but we need to be worried about those motherfuckers because that's who's destroying. That's who's causing immigration, right? You want to get rid of immigration, get rid of them. You help clean up their countries. We're so fucking gangster about going into Libya and doing shit or going somewhere else. Why don't we go to places that need our help? Really need our help, that are our neighbors. But instead we just fuck around because there's nothing there. There's nothing humanitarian we're doing. It's just, you want to solve immigration, help these fucking people want to immigrate.
I actually went to El Salvador a couple years ago.
Yeah,
it was a layover, but it stayed there for about 24 hours. They have some beautiful beaches, man.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's
beautiful beaches.
Oh, fucking South America's gorgeous.
To y'all's point earlier, that was like, pretty significant when you said the people that are coming over here in mass numbers. If you just gave them a choice, answer A or answer B, would you rather stay home or would you like Denzel and fucking, you want to go home or you want to go to jail?
Exactly.
Right? Like that's what it all comes down to, right? They'd rather like, if all things equal, they'd rather fucking stay home, man. They don't want to uproot their entire fucking family and come to another country. Mm-mm. They don't want to do that. That's not option A. Do you understand that? That's not fucking option A. Okay, so they're doing it under a very large amount of circumstances, under duress, that is causing that to be the best option. This is not fucking option A. Americans don't decide we're going to uproot our whole fucking family and go. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make that comparison. Yeah. But anyway,
but you're right. You're right. But, that's right. But the reality is guess what? We villainize these people that would just do what any of us would do for our families, for our futures, and for our hopes. We villainize them. But the reality is
on the other foot, man.
Yep. We need to villainize the system. And the system is what's broken. Look, I'm not saying that we need to I'll be the first one to say, and it's almost slightly hypocritical because of how my family came over, but we don't necessarily need open borders. We need to have control. There has to always be control, right? There always has to be some type of rules. If you play basketball, no rules, motherfuckers would be getting fucking like kicked in the nuts and like shanked, at half court. But there has to be rules.
Like arch rivals.
Exactly. That was a fucking good game.
It'd be a whole other sport.
No shit. But you can't do that, right? Society can't be built like that. We can't do that. So what we need to do is we need to make South America a better place. Not in our eyes, but just give them more ample opportunity and get rid of the gangs, man. If we can get rid of ISIS, right? We could sure as fuck get rid of the gangs here in South America. Easily. Like last time I checked, ISIS was rolling in like Helix trucks with like fucking 50 cows and missile launchers. And like they were so fucking gangster that historical sites, right? They would take these satellite photos and show before ISIS and after ISIS, right? These motherfuckers were so fucked up that after they knocked down all the statues of like just historical sites that were thousands of years old, they looted the whole area. So it was funny. One picture was this clear ground. The next picture shows 1,000 holes in it because they were all digging up stuff so they could sell the iniquities on the black market. What kind of asshole gang goes in it? ISIS was a gang. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. What kind of asshole gang not only destroys something, but then sells all of its cultural heritage?
Oh, okay. Dude, you know what they were
Those
like?
Those are dicks.
You ever, like G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
ISIS was like Cobra.
It was. ISIS was fucking Cobra.
Like
the Cobras.
ISIS was like Cobra, bro. Anyway, fuck.
You feel me? I mean, we can't fucking deal
Yeah.
with these other motherfuckers, but
No.
we can fucking clean up ourselves. So I just
No,
that's
they
all.
just
That's
use
all.
the religious, they just use the Islam angle to
Yeah.
get fucking members, dude. If you think it was
Exactly.
anything other than a
Yeah.
criminal organization, you're crazy. But
Yep.
anyway, that's neither. We do need to start kind of. Well, go ahead. You got one
I
more?
was gonna say, I think the
Kinda
U.S.
final-
should take a cue from China. Okay, China.
No,
essentially
should
bought-
we?
No. Wait, let me
Oh,
talk
shit.
about it.
You're gonna start wanting
China-
to treat everyone like
everybody-
Uyghurs.
No, China bought
Bro.
a lot of assets from Africa, ports, okay, factories, land. We should do that with South America. Why don't we invest in South America?
Where?
That's how you invest in them.
We already
Right,
have
ports?
though. We already have Panama Canal. Who is a major investor?
Oh, it's not. It doesn't belong to us anymore.
No, but who is the major investor? United States of
States.
America.
Yeah. Costa Rica's a pretty stable country.
What? Dude,
Panama,
I've been to
Costa
Costa
Rica?
Rica. It is not a stable country.
Oh, come
bro.
on, dude. It is.
Bro, I've
take out
been there.
tourism.
Dude.
Take out tourism, it's done.
Yeah, dude. Like where I stayed was a pretty nice area, right? And all their walls on top of them are covered with broken glass so that people can't climb them and rob them in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah. No, Puerto Rico's the
like
same
they-
way, dude.
Like
Damn.
there's
Dude,
like yeah, dude.
that gave me an idea.
Yeah, no, seriously.
gonna-
All their all their walls are cement, so it's not wood, and they're covered in broken
Yeah.
glass, so you can't climb them. So yeah, dude,
The-
that's not as stable as one would like to think Costa Rica.
The Chinese consulate down the street had the exact
That's a
same
dope
setup.
idea, though. I like that.
Dude.
Broken glass. Fuck
Yeah,
you,
dude,
man.
it's
Come
fucking crazy.
Come climb my shit. Tear
Yeah,
up your
man.
fucking fingers.
Blood clots. But yeah, man. But it's seriously now. Yeah, we need. I mean, well, investment is one way, but we really need to also decriminalize drugs. We need to find people who hire illegal immigrants. We need to do all these other things. Our undocumented workers. We need to figure out ways to do that. But instead, we just sit around holding our fucking dick and going, "Oh, who do we hate?" More or less. The Dems don't fucking give a shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They don't care. And the Republicans, they just like to use this as public enemy number one whenever, right behind whether there's issues in the Middle East or there's issues with China. If those two are cool, it's right back to immigration. So either fucking way,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, either party, you know what I mean? Like, don't get your heels
Yeah.
too dug in, because you think that they give a shit about
They don't.
any people, brother. That's two teams. So if you're, I made a little post today, and I cut it short of the 24-hour story maximum, just because it's one of those things where I was like, this is a good idea in the morning, and I was like, it's a little douchey. We're getting a little behind the scenes here. But as we kind of wrap up to this break, I do want to bring a couple shout outs. But to my point there, it's like, yo, if you're avoiding politics because you think that, well, I'm not a Republican, I don't belong in this debate. That's the whole fucking problem. Make your own fucking team. Like I said on another episodes, politics is fucking society. Society is culture. Culture is life, and you're alive, aren't you? So you do have an opinion. You do have a place in these debates. This shit does matter. It affects your fucking life. So get off your
It's not
ass.
black and white.
Stop. It's not black and white. They make it black and white. They make it black and white, dude. But that's why you skip. That's why you fucking subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and you skip the fucking noise with us, and you join this. You know what I mean? This movement, if you will. Fuck it. I'll call it a movement. I don't care. We invested a lot of time and effort into this. I think I have the right to call it a movement. But a few shout outs before we hit this little break. And I haven't made the decision yet. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go with a Mike Tacklebox tune to bring you guys into the second half. That's my boy.
Very nice.
Mike Tacklebox, the traditional OG of the musical selections brought to you by Rounded Edge Media. But I do want to say a couple things. So this episode we are recording tonight is Tuesday, which means tomorrow is what? Wednesday, the 24th.
Yes, sir.
I will go ahead and put a stamp of approval and say I will have that out by Wednesday morning for your listening pleasure. I like to commit myself in that way. So I don't have any choice but to get that thing out of here Wednesday, because I don't like to get it past that. I like to get them early in the week. So anyway, that's coming out this weekend. I teased on Instagram. I might have mentioned it on the show. I've got an interview I did with JR of West Virginia Uncommonplace. Dude has a tremendous podcast, some great interviews. And not only that, dude just really does a lot for independent podcasters. Really good guy. I really like conversing with him, and was a pleasure to be on his program. So look for that. So subscribe to him on Apple or Spotify, or wherever the hell you get your podcasts. West Virginia Uncommonplace. I'll be coming out on the Podcast Collide episode coming up this weekend. So look for that. Yeah, so I guess that's good, man. That was a great first half. Yeah, let's move right into this break. And Party in the Back coming for just to lay out the scenario
for your
here.
ass.
We're coming for your heads. We're coming for your necks, your fucking jugular vein. We're coming
Head,
for the
face,
whole
and chest.
So we're gonna move into the second half, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care. And we are back. So at this time, presumably, maybe you're driving home on your commute, which is the whole structure, which I was mentioning to these guys before we started recording. You know what I mean? You drive to work, you want to get a little news and politics and some good debates going before you enter the workplace and have that mindset. And then on your way home, you're driving back in the second half, you put on Skip the Noise. Now you're a little more, you're relaxed, you're in a better mood. You want to hear the crazy shit. So before we get into the real meat of the Party in the Back second half for episode 39,
that big old salami meat,
as I tend to do, it's no secret if you listen to Skip the Noise that your boy Benjamin James has some pretty crazy dreams. Some people are just sort of prone to that. I am one of those. Almost every single night I go to sleep, and I sleep heavy. I sleep like a fucking brick. I have dreams. Sometimes I remember them more than others, but so I had one. Sometimes I just want to bring them up on the show just because it was weird. And at the sake of sounding like a complete insane piece of shit, you know what? Here it goes. You're going to hear about it. So the other night, it was probably 2 nights ago, I woke up and I remembered a pretty good amount of my dream, but I'm really going to only bring up one aspect because that's the focal point. But just to set the scenario, this involved, for some reason, I was on the football team. Like, I was the same age I am now, but I was a member of a high school football team, which I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to know the backstory of that. But we were coming back from a game, and I had, we were like putting your equipment up or whatever. And then there was a flood, which, and every 3 months in Houston, it fucking floods, like catastrophic, century, 100-year floods happen here every 2 weeks. So floods seem to be a common theme of my dream. So yo, therapist, if you're out there listening, maybe let me know what the fuck that means. You might be able to help me out with that. And shout out if you've never heard her podcast, The Therapist, on anywhere you get your podcast, please subscribe. Good friend of the show. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I had to help. Somebody's car had fell in the water, right? And it was some, like a real rundown, probably early 80s, like fucking Datsun or something for whatever reason. And everybody was, they're all freaking out. I lost my car. It fucking went down in the flood. And I was kind of like, oh, Jesus, you fucking pussies. Like, all right, Benji's got to solve all these fucking problems like every other time. So I pointed to like 2 or 3 people, like, all right, motherfucker, like swim down. Let's get this shit. Like, and everybody's going along with it. Like, all right, fuck, whatever he says. So we all swim down, no scuba equipment whatsoever. It was a 4-man job. One guy, like we could actually do this in real life is beyond me, but this was what happened in the dream. One male gentleman on each tire, and somehow we swam and brought the fucking car back up. Okay. So after we completed that task, I was like, oh shit. Like, that was man, I'm tired. Like, okay, I'm out of here, man. I'm going home. So I was walking, mind you, this is still in a high school. So whoever lost their car, this was within the confines of a high school campus that this flood happened. You know how dreams are, right? So I'm walking down the stairs, and this is the aspect I wanted to bring up. I run into two exotic dancers. One, I believe, was white, a blonde, another African American. Obviously both very young, attractive ladies. As most strippers, that's how you make your money.
Sometimes are. Yeah.
What's that?
As most strippers sometimes are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you said
No,
something
not
about
always.
the Knights Templar. Yeah, no, not always.
The Knights
Depending
Templar.
I thought I was like,
shit.
whoa, I didn't have any kind of that comparison, but whatever.
Cartel related dreams.
That would have been, yeah, dude. But anyway, so these two ladies were on the staircase, and it was almost like, so I got the impression, I don't remember if any of this was stated, but it was like, COVID has provided hard times if you are a stripper or exotic dancer, right? Obviously. Okay. If that's your means of paying your rent and making cash happen for your bank account, it's been some tough times, dude. And you've probably had to resort to other methods. I'm not going to delve into what that might be, but let's just say there's exactly. There's some temp work. So yeah, you might have seen an uptick in some hot temp workers recently in the last year, or maybe not, but nonetheless. So these two young ladies, and they were very nice and very pleasant. They were trying to sell me. One of them, matter of fact, had a briefcase, and they were trying to sell me some products. Okay. And I think they might have even mentioned like, hey, yo, COVID for strippers has been hard times. We are out here pushing basically sex merchandise. And I was right up front in telling these ladies that like, yo, before you even open this fucking briefcase, I need you to know something about me. I'm a very strong believer in, I don't bring any paraphernalia into my bedroom for any of the activities. I'm a very strong believer in that. The highest power, you know what I mean? God,
Right.
Jah, whoever, brother, they provided us with 10 fingers. Okay. I've got a cock. I've got a mouth. I've got, you know what I mean? Like I've got plenty of equipment to handle, to deal with. I'm not sure. And this is how I feel in real life. I don't think it's a good idea to start bringing fucking paraphernalia into your sex life. You can, I get it. It's fun. Whatever you want to do in your bedroom with your consenting, whatever you want to do with your consenting partner is your business, dude. I'm not hating. Whatever you want to do, bro, that's fine. I'm just saying my stance. I see it a little bit of a bigger thing. I think it's funny, sex is something to joke. It's a funny topic, but in a real, and I'm talking to the Skip the Noise listener, in a real sense, I just feel like, no, man, it should be two human beings, and whatever you got, whatever equipment God gave you, that's what you're working with in the bedroom. I don't believe in bringing objects into the scenario. That's just how I feel. And that's what I told this girl.
Not everyone has a footer, man. Okay. Just want to put it out there.
Well, yeah, definitely don't have a footer. I'll go on record as saying it's definitely not a foot. But, hey, yeah, but hey, you're fucking listening, aren't you?
I am.
You gotta admit, dude, like I'm bringing you along for the journey. So I told one of these young ladies that, and the African American one was kind of like, hey, yo, like I get it, like I'm kind of with you, but I'm just saying it's hard times, bro. Like we got to hard sell these things. Like she kind of leveled with me, like, yo, I kind of honestly, yeah, I feel you. So I was like, okay, cool. So me and her kind of vibed, like, I got you. But the blonde was still like, well, like, you know what I mean? She was like the car salesman, like, well, fuck, this Nissan's got fucking the backwards reverse cam and shit. Like that was the scenario I was in. Like she was still like, yo, your kids are gonna die if you don't have this fucking backwards reverse cam. Like, yo, motherfuckers drove without the reverse cam for fucking a century of automotive.
That's so stupid.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And now I'm wrapping it up. I promise. She pulled out a product and she's like, did you know and this is, I'm going to propose this. This is why I didn't bring this up to y'all, because I wanted this to be a surprise to the two pharmacists. And I didn't Google this shit either, because I didn't want this thing on my search history, this question or this query. I didn't want to put this query into my Google search. Okay. I didn't want anything to do with it, only in my imagination. She said to me in the dream, she goes, yo, if you like had a little, she had like a little vial, a little droplet of iodine. She's like, yo, if you drop a little couple drops of iodine on your chick's asshole, it'll tighten. Bro, I'm not lying. This is what she said in my dream. She said it'll tighten up and like it's gonna be dope.
Is it real?
And dude, that's why I'm asking you guys, the pharmacist. I was like, what the fuck? Like, hey, yo, like I'm not bringing iodine. I said, I already told you my stance, so whatever. And then I woke up. But I woke up with this question, like, dude, is there any fucking validity? Do porn star, you know what I mean? Like, is this something that like somehow I learned by osmosis? Like, do porn stars do shit like this, or is this a thing?
I mean,
I'm not gonna Google it, dude. Not
that my pharmacy specialty has anything to do with iodine and puckering up assholes. But I'm pretty sure that does not cause an asshole to pucker unless it's burning. Unless it's burning your asshole.
No, did we establish that that's false claim?
That's not only false, it's gonna make her asshole look like it's bleeding. It's gonna look pretty bad.
That's gonna be terrible.
It's not gonna be the experience
not only that,
you're
but
hoping for.
Do you know what it's gonna have? That's gonna do to you? I mean,
oh God, and then you going into this thing. Oh, yeah. Bro.
The only thing that I know can pucker up an asshole is probably Botox.
Yeah.
Botox injections.
Well, no.
Okay.
It would loosen it up.
It happens. Right? Yeah. No,
I thought it would loosen it up because the injection would release the muscle.
Doesn't it constrict the muscle? Doesn't it stretch it? Isn't that how it works with your face?
No. So it deadens that muscle, so that's why it goes placid.
Oh, so
remember botulinum
you have a lot of
toxin.
skin.
Yes, it goes placid. So instead of it being in a continual phase of tense, it releases it, I believe.
Oh, that's not good.
So botulinum toxin. So really, you would just shot in someone's asshole, they would just have a loose asshole. The exact opposite of the iodine theory that we were testing.
Dude, but either way,
we need that the more you know star that just went across the screen right now.
I just thought that it was dope that I was getting this advice from these strippers who were like,
they have to return the iodine.
They had all the science. Yeah. No, I didn't buy it. I woke up for it.
Ben has like 4 bottles. He's like, fuck, I gotta take this.
Dude, that makes sense though. I just had a light bulb moment. You know, in the scene of Wolf of Wall Street where he's snorting the cocaine out the asshole?
Yeah.
Is that cocaine? Wouldn't that constrict an asshole?
Now that possibly
yes.
Yes.
Dude.
Because it causes vasoconstriction. Causes vasoconstriction.
If there's a constriction, it tightens it up, and you can snort the cocaine off her asshole. There you go, man.
Oh boy,
done.
That's
let's go to Vegas.
That's smelly cocaine. I don't know. Cocaine has already enough issues. Now you want cocaine tainted and possible shit. So let's just go. Let's go all in.
Either way, I think we all learned something there. So, and like I said, man, once again, no matter how fucked up my dream, actually, the more fucked up my dreams are, the more apt I am to share them. So I'm laying it out there for you guys. I'm giving you a window into my psyche. You know what I mean? Despite how weird it makes me seem, I don't care. It's entertainment for the show.
That's good, man.
I'm not ashamed of it.
But
I genuinely wanted to know if, I mean, I don't know much about iodine other than like it's in shrimp and shit and sea life.
It's in shrimp and sea life.
You get some salt. Some salt has iodine.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, dude,
liquid iodine is not going to cause any type of puckering.
Nope.
Okay, well, I guess we solved that. We solved that fucking mystery. But so on to the next thing, which is this is what we really wanted to fucking get after.
No. We really wanted to talk about the asshole thing.
Well, we did. I mean, I definitely did. But so we
should make a show, just an asshole show, you know?
Anyway. Yeah, we could. There probably that exists. I'm sure there's somebody on Anchor. There's some anyway, go
ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
Anchor podcast. No. I just wanted to set up what we're about to talk about. So, obviously, skip the noise. You know, every few episodes we touch on the possibility of life from outside our galaxy or at least our planet. Okay. UFOs, UAPs is the new jargon. We talk about these a lot. Plus, it's come up quite a bit in the last year or two as the need and the sort of the public, what the discourse has been a lot more open with the government and these things recently than it has been in our lifetimes. I can say that for sure. So I have to say, I think even before we had mentioned that the 180-day disclosure clause that was part of the stimulus bill when Trump was still president, that Jeremy so pointed out on episode 37. So what's the date now? June 25th is when, so. Yeah. According to whenever the timing of the thing. So basically the CIA, all the intelligence agencies have until this time to fully disclose everything that they know or that they've gathered about UAPs or UFOs is the common historical term. So another thing I wanted to point out is earlier in 2020, and at Skip the Noise, all three of us have been kind of in unison on this, that, hey, 2021, we've all followed to some degree or another the study of this kind of shit, alien life and UFOs, the phenomena, as if you will, that disclosure has always been brought up, man, since the fucking 90s, like, oh, it's going to happen this year, blah, blah, blah. It really looks like it. We all concur that, like, 2021, this is when we're actually getting some information that could be fucking significant for this study. They developed back in August. It was announced that there is a UAP task force that is in charge of gathering information on everything cited. But anyway, the recent event that we want to talk about, Ben, I want you to introduce this topic.
Well, there's just been a flood of stories, and especially I saw a lot hit the front pages today. One in particular that caught my opinion was that basically the military is already kind of talking about possible technologies that the aliens could possibly have. One of them being that the craft that they cited, I think this is even coming from the Favor video where you see the jet pilot chasing after them, was that these crafts were moving faster than the speed of sound without a sonic boom, which leads to so many different possibilities. So what they're kind of doing is preempting technology that will probably be what's going to, to be the big actual revealer. So in order for something to travel faster than the speed of sound without a sonic boom, it would have to have no resistance, which is impossible. And on top of that, it would have to almost in a way defy gravity. It would have to defy thermodynamic laws. It would have to do all these things.
Physics. It has to defy physics.
Exactly. And the only way to do that would be by nullifying some of the laws of physics, mainly gravity. But and it was crazy when I brought this up because, and Rick, I want you to chime in with what you said too. But my concept was that we're kind of talking about anti-gravity technologies now. Like these guys are able to project and move things through matter without resistance. And the only way you're going to do that is nullifying gravity, which is what they're kind of already explaining in some of these leaked stories, supposedly leaked stories, or some of these leaked reports, which is pretty fucking awesome because once we can nullify gravity, then everything is possible, right? The possibility of travel becomes unbelievable because if we can nullify gravity, then what keeps us from lifting a whole city and taking it into space? Nothing. That takes away our worry about moving large scale operations into space, which is fucking nuts. But chime in with your thought on that too, Rick, because I thought that was really fucking fascinating.
So yeah, it's fascinating because here's the thing now. It's not just the technology that they can come up with. It's the physics. It has to be retaught.
Right.
If you come up with a mechanism or law whereby you can travel at sonic speeds and not create a sonic boom. And you know how that's done. I mean, you've just rearranged physics, from A to Z.
Right.
It's got to be, you got to think about how the universe now works again.
Right.
Completely different, because sonic boom, what it is as you're traveling really fast, the sound waves are compressing in front of you as you're traveling faster. So a sonic boom is when you go faster than those waves and you break through that wave and you create a boom. Okay. So how is this thing able to traverse through the air and not make a sound, even though you're going faster than the speed of sound? How does it break through these waves and not make a sound? I mean, think about that.
Yeah,
if you
matter
figure that
bending.
out,
You're bending matter. You're bending the laws of physics, like you say. You're bending reality almost to make something like that occur.
I mean, it almost makes me think that maybe the propulsion system is something this ship is probably being flown in another dimension, and they can go super fast and you don't hear it. And it's
so do you think like when they're flying, they hop from like our dimension to another dimension to achieve these supersonic speeds and hop back in? That's fucking cool. I didn't even think about that. So what we're seeing is the signature. So that's why these things seem to disappear for a second. And we almost, and probably even machines, there's almost an optical illusion that they're still in our realm, but they're popping in and out.
Yeah.
And the drives are causing some type of energy flux that can kind of be seen almost as a trail, but really they popped in and out of existence on our plane. That's
exactly
wild.
I'm pretty sure that if you're flying a jet, you're trying to shoot a missile at this thing, you're not going to hit anything. It's going to go right through it. And the reason is that it's not there.
That makes sense. I mean, that's one of the concepts that people always talk about, especially in sci-fi. Being able to travel beyond the speed of light is by creating basically a bubble, of which is like an antimatter, anti-gravity bubble, which can therefore you can violate the laws of physics in this bubble because you've recreated a whole dimension in it. So you'll be able to move in and out of space without breaking the laws, because you've literally created, like, I guess you could say subspace, this bubble. They always try to say like a bubble. Yeah. And so, I think that I just thought, oh, they're using some type of anti-gravity, but the concept that you thought is even fucking greater, because if they're popping in and out of reality, either way, this is fucking nuts, because they're talking about technology now. This is how you slowly release technology, right? This is how you slowly release, like, to the public, the concepts of these type of this type of technology, right? I mean, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts. And so, I just think this is us getting closer and fucking closer to disclosure. And so, with that being said, right? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, think about it. I mean, in our reality, in our dimension,
right?
You can't go faster than the speed of light.
Right.
Okay. You have to create a sonic boom when you go past the speed of sound.
Right.
But what's to say that you don't put on like let's just say a ring, like Lord of the Rings, and you disappear into another dimension.
Right.
And you can literally travel faster than the speed of light. You can travel faster than the speed of sound. You may create a sonic boom, but on this side you won't hear it. You'll just see it. So anyway, I don't know, man. I hope they release it. I hope it leads to good things. Hopefully they don't make, supersonic nuclear missiles or anything like that.
Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to make dimension jumping nuclear weapons. Of course they will, because that's what we do. We do shitty things to fuck everybody up. But I like now that disclosure's not just coming out saying, "Oh, we saw the Tic Tac." Now they're saying, "Well, this whatever it is had the ability to travel faster than the speed of sound without producing a sonic boom." And for most people, they're like, "Okay," but for people that actually understand physics more, right? When you understand physics more, you know that the faster you go, the more heat you make.
Yeah. And not only that, but the fact that they're government officials are freely discussing this with the media and saying like,
Exactly.
yeah, we've observed things that don't fit into the parameters of what our science can explain.
Exactly. And
That
that
in
to
and of
me is
itself
the beginning
is,
of it.
that's what I'm saying. Like that did not happen.
Nope.
Like if you're young, young Skip the Noise listener, the reason we're making such a big fucking deal about this is the three of us have been interested in this shit for fucking ever. There has never been a time where the air quotes the man has made statements like this.
Yep.
Ever.
I mean, I sent this
okay.
shit to my wife and she was like, is this fucking real? Like, is this a real story? Is this really? Because the ramifications of this it's insane. People, they're talking about alien technology, or at the very least, they're talking about technology that supersedes us by generations. This isn't just a 10 or 20 year leap. Like people jerk off all the time going, oh, in the 1800s, they had horses. In the 1900s, they flew. This is beyond that. This is a complete redefinition of mathematics, understanding of physical matter, the understanding of the universe. And they're just saying, oh, it could travel without a sonic boom. But if for most people that take that statement, like, wait, what? Well, hold on a second. If you know what I'm saying? So to me, I just, this is huge. This is huge. And so with that being said, my tinfoil hat really went hard in the paint because I was just sitting there going, okay, so disclosure's happening, right? This is going to fucking happen at some point. I mean, I really think it's this year. I could be wrong, but guys, I think something's going to be told to us because there's no way they're releasing this much information without, they're giving a little bit at a time to get us ready for the big moment. But I was thinking, right? COVID. And I'm not, and please, this is just everyone fucking take this as brain candy. Don't fucking go running around saying this crazy motherfucking Mexicans talking this stupid shit about COVID, okay? But just take it as fucking brain candy.
Aliens and COVID. Here we go.
So what happens, right? If COVID was actually manufactured for disclosure, right? What happens if COVID being it's a virus, right? Anyone, and so just a quick synopsis of the viruses, they inject their machinery into cells and co-opt it to make new cellular proteins for themselves and to reproduce because they lack the machinery because they're very rudimentary organisms, you could say. They say they're not alive, but their abilities are pretty lifelike. But what happens if COVID was manufactured so that it would produce proteins or something to protect the human populace in preparation for disclosure? So that's why it was released naturally. And so now they're giving it, now that it's kind of done its thing naturally, and I was like, oh, we have all this vaccine that so just happens to be here. But the reason why they kind of did that was because in a way they were preparing us because they knew that 1% of the population exposed to these aliens was going to die. So instead,
like old people?
Yeah, just 1%. I mean, because remember, it could be old people, but it could be anybody. Also, kind of. Right. But what happens if they already knew 1% of the population? So to soften the blow of alien microbes, they manufactured a virus that would do it all before they got here and then inoculate us and prepare all the strong ones that survived, which really isn't strong, but 99% of the people that caught it that survived, it would fortify them to prepare them for what is coming.
That's a really big tinfoil hat, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, I went all in today.
Man, I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch. It could have just been some bat that,
No, but think about it though. What happens? I mean, think about it. That's why it was manufactured. That's why it was released. That's why there were so many idiosyncrasies with this whole disease. Like, oh, wear masks, don't wear masks, do this, don't do that. So much misinformation coming from so many sources that actually propagated. And then once, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the beginning, they said, oh, masks don't stop it. And now, oh yeah, masks stop it. But they say, well, but it really doesn't.
It really
You know what I'm
doesn't,
saying?
yeah.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, what happens if the whole point was really for it to be just spread throughout the country, throughout the
I mean,
world?
that would be a reason why we have COVID. I mean, that's the best reason I've heard.
Well,
We haven't been given any more information about COVID's existence other than,
we know it's created.
here.
I don't give a fuck. Everyone, it was created. Okay, it was fucking created.
Yeah.
But what happens if it was created in preparation
For a reason?
And it was because, no one wants to think that when, fucking ET lands, 1% of the population of the world dies because of microbes and alien whatever.
I think the vaccine is part of that.
Yep. And so we're fucking taking the vaccine in preparation for our alien overlords. That's what the fuck is going down.
Well, that's why I haven't taken the vaccine yet.
No, then you're fucked because they're gonna fuck you up.
No, and, man, I've seen enough daytime TV to see the stupid lawyer commercials. It's like, I know that in about 10 years, we're going to see, like, if you've taken the COVID vaccine and you have mesothelioma, please call the law office of douchebag and douchebag.
Their number is fucking awesome.
That's inside, dude. That's inside baseball right there. Good,
that is,
good.
That
was
awesome.
Beautifully done, Rick. That's
Awesome.
that's like that's dog whistle. That's only the three of us get that, but that's amazing.
That's if you watch Maury.
But I just thought it was fucking crazy that there's a lot more coming out. So either there's some really fucking crazy technology that somebody has, either Rocket Man that keeps going by the fucking LA fucking by the
Rocket
fucking
Man.
LAX, the Rocket Man flying by that shit all the
They
time.
haven't caught him yet.
Yeah, exactly. You got this
No,
fucking,
they haven't even.
yeah.
They haven't
You got
even
Iron
ID'd
Man.
this motherfucker.
Yeah, right. You got fucking Iron Man flying around. You got
Bro, he's
fucking
in-
everything. Dude, I'm
He's
telling
in
you.
fucking.
Man.
He's in like. I don't know the term. I was gonna say international, but it's not really international. But like, I mean, motherfuckers in like airspace, like prohibited.
Exactly.
You ain't supposed to be up there on a jetpack, dude.
And
Those
he's
fucking.
doing it, bro.
Maybe he's multidimensional too.
Exactly, dude. We're fucking. Dude,
No, I think
guys, it's going.
No,
down,
that's
bro.
just a dude. That's just
No.
like fuck it.
But that's why. So I was thinking. So I really think that I saw that story. There's multiple stories about other things that the military basically are stating that they don't understand how were able to do this, and apparently they're sitting on a fuck ton of reports. So at some point, even if you start looking at all these reports and saying let's just run Occam's razor by it and say the simplest explanation is the most it's typically the true one. When does that become the reality? Whenever let's say you have 10,000 cases, right? 1% of them have veracity, which is typically in all of reality. Things typically occur quite a bit more than 1%, right? The veracity of this is the sheer probability now is that there's something going on, and that we're going to be fucking alerted to it. And whether Rick turns inside out when he meets the alien overlords because he didn't take his COVID vaccine,
Nice.
or not, it's a big deal, man. I really, and it's crazy they don't make kids. The kid push hasn't gone through because maybe they were born with it, and only certain people, older people,
the fucking indigo
fucking
children,
older people,
bro.
fucking older people weren't born with it. That's why they fucking get fucking murked by fucking COVID, bro. Dude, I'm fucking hitting this shit. There's gonna be helicopters outside in a little bit,
bro. My daughter can edit a fucking TikTok video like I can write 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah,
like they're fucking
yes, bro.
Nice.
They're different than us, bro.
Nice.
Dude, my son
even though
headshots kids on fucking Destiny. Not even thinking.
I can't
Fucking
do it.
whack. I mean, all
I can
headshots.
barely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can barely make like bullshit jumps on fucking Super
Like
Mario
side
Brothers.
bike.
Dude, I was not able to hit it. I can barely hit the ducks and duck hunt. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
that's
my
what I'm
son,
saying.
dude,
Like-
I saw him take out like 7 dudes with all headshots and just single shots, just running around with the sniper rifle. I'm like,
Dude,
what is wrong with you?
I tried to play
I
like
was
whenever
scared. I was intimidated.
Bro, whenever Fortnite was all the rage and like my son and my sister-in-law were playing that shit, like I tried to get in the mix a little bit, like, oh, let me try this. And dude, like how do you understand that many fucking buttons? Like people are building shit and they're jumping and then they're like changing weapons and then they're zeroing in on my fucking temple and they're like, boom. I couldn't last. Like I couldn't even have fun with that fucking game.
I like that game. I like that game.
I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, I know it's over now. Like it's not even cool anymore, but when it was like at its height of its popularity, like I kind of dipped into it for a second. And I couldn't understand that was the one thing that stuck out to me was like, who the fuck are these kids that their minds can do all this shit?
Dude, I'm telling you,
it surpassed my, I couldn't.
That's why COVID doesn't affect kids. They're already kind of inoculated. Like
They're
after a certain time frame where older people are fucked up by it because they didn't get the fuck. I'm telling you,
it's the indigo generation
guys,
or whatever.
I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be fucking black helicopters dropping down, man. It's fucking going down.
It already is, man.
I'm telling you.
You guys talked about Rocket Man. I want to see him fly over Area 51 and see if they catch him.
Yeah, they're gonna hit him with a missile.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. No, I don't know. I mean, they still. I know area. Oh, by the way, fucking going to head out to fucking Roswell this summer. It's on the family vacation list. I'm cannot wait. I'm taking a million pictures by aliens. But I think they still test quite a bit of military hardware out there, so I would probably not do that. Also, that area, quite a few nuclear bombs were detonated out there. Remember, there's some areas over there that has quite a bit of radioactivity still.
Yeah.
From all the Los Alamos tests and all that shit. And yeah, we decided we're just going to try nuclear weapons. Right.
Why not?
In our own country.
Pretty soon we're gonna have multi-dimensional nuclear weapons too.
Oh my god, can you imagine that? Oh, okay. So there's this writer called Ian M. Banks, right? And so instead of a weapon like what you think, like, an interdimensional nuclear weapon, instead what he would do was fucking crazy, pin-sized black holes. Did that scare you?
Okay, dude.
They got him. Fucking overlords found him. Yo, that's the scariest feeling when you feel something go against your foot, isn't it? And for everyone at home, Rick literally just jumped out of his seat almost and acted like, we thought the aliens got Rick.
There's a little fly or something. It just hit my ankle. It's pretty close to my nuts, man. No way.
Oh man,
that ain't a fly, dude.
I thought fucking aliens, bro. You just got your nuts tickled by an alien.
Nice.
They're trying to get fresh with you. They're trying to figure out why you're not taking the vaccine. But anyways, fuck, dude. I'm telling you, man, it's just fucking awesome. And the best part is I'm gonna be in that area around the time that
at that time.
Yeah.
Yo, you're gonna have to zoom in. We're gonna have to record like for you.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna
be live. So look forward to that this summer.
Oh, dude, there's gonna be lights in the sky. We're gonna fucking do a badass podcast. Oh yeah, dude, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, dude. Bring your laptop and do that shit from outside.
For
People
sure.
live from the fucking source.
For fucking sure. I'm gonna get a video of fucking Roswell. It's going down. But that being said, guys, I think we've run the course. So I think hopefully you've already made it home with Ben's analogy earlier. Hopefully you're pulling in the garage. It was a nice peaceful drive. You're not too paranoid about the aliens taking you.
No.
But
now it's Saving Private Ryan moment. You're gonna go through that door. The wife's gonna probably yell at you a little bit.
Fuck,
gotta dodge it.
Dude, Jesus.
What?
Wow. Okay, look. If every time you walk into your home and you feel like it's the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, you need to just go ahead and move on. Because guess what? That's fucking traumatic. If you walk in your house and it's like you're being jarred by military shells and dudes running around holding their own arm, you're in a bad relationship. And you need to get out of that relationship immediately.
Yeah,
get counseling.
Yeah, you know how the boat, the little door opens and then the ding, 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 the soldiers start like moving to the sides.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's Sometimes that's what it's like to come home.
Oh my
So
God.
anyway.
Rick, you just acted like you're walking into like one of those like pill boxes with like a machine gunner opening up.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
Anyway, this doesn't
And on
happen
that
every day.
positive note about relationships, love, and marriage, where can they find us, B?
Oh, everywhere, brother. But the main thing you can find us is the Instagram is kind of the home base, man. That's where we do most of our activity. Skip_the_noise_podcast. Follow us on there. That provides actually the link tree that can get you to all the other information. But I do have a TikTok account. I do have a Snapchat account. Neither which of those are extremely active, but look me up on the it's Skip the Noise, one word, podcast, like it's the last name. That's the same thing as it is for the Facebook. So if you have the means, look us up, either one of those. But Instagram is kind of where it's at. But you can, like I said, you can reach me on any of those platforms. I try to be pretty active on Instagram, making posts and stories every single day. Try to keep you guys informed on what's going on. A lot of the stuff we can't cover on the show. So I try to introduce little stories or thoughts or things that you should be thinking about in that regard. And, things are happening, man. We're doing, like I said, I got that, wanted to remind you guys, the interview or the Podcast Collide episode I'm going to be on West Virginia Uncommon Place is going to come out this weekend. I think probably Saturday, depending on what time zone you're in, maybe like Friday evening, something like that. But please look forward to that. And obviously I'll be promoting that this week if you look on Instagram and all the other places. But yeah, we're excited about that. Making a lot of connects, man. We got some podcasters joining the ranks and getting on the Skip the Noise train. So we're excited about that. But we're also excited just to keep bringing you guys as much information as we can possibly provide, and we would appreciate y'all's feedback. So likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. Feedback provided either through direct message, email, skip the noise podcast@gmail.com. So if you got any questions or concerns, anything like that, send it to me there. Also, what else? What's another front you can get at me? But I know we propose this all the time. If you got issues, you got things you want to talk about, the doors,
issues.
You got issues, not personal issues.
You want to talk about your baby daddy?
Yeah, we're not really gonna get. I'll be honest with you, we're probably not gonna get into any of that. But if you got issues, where you're at, some kind of broader, maybe it applies to more than one.
You feel like you're walking home to a pill box.
Yeah, if your issue applies to more than 10 people. Bring that to me. If it's less than 10, we'll go ahead and keep that to yourself. You may want to go on to another podcast to reach out for help for that. But other than that, I'll end the show. We'll just go all mic tackle box tonight. We'll kind of lead you into a groove there. Any last thoughts, guys, before we get out of here for the week?
Rick needs a hug.
No, I'm good, man. Thank you.
We all need hugs.
But no.
But anyway,
keep looking up to the skies. Keep looking up to the skies, people, because it's coming.
It's coming, guys. And you heard it here first. Oh, I hope you did. All right. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you. Take care. Bye.
Night.